For as long as we've been around, we've had this complicated dance with our planet. Are we just a product of our environment, or are we the ones calling the shots? It's a huge story about destiny and choice, and it all really comes down to one big question. And that's it, right there. Are we just prisoners of our geography? Are the amazing cultures and societies we build just an inevitable result of the mountains, deserts, and climates we happen to be born into? Or is there something more going on?
Well, to even begin to answer that, we've got to go back to basics. We need to look at the fundamental ways we actually interact with the Earth. And it really all starts with what the planet gives us and what we decide to do with it. Geographers like to split natural resources into two main buckets. In one corner, you've got renewable resources, things like sunlight, wind, or forests that can grow back. They replenish. In the other corner are the non-renewables, like oil and minerals. Once we use them up, they're gone, at least on any timescale that matters to us. And it's kind of wild how much a single non-renewable resource can just take over our lives. We hear oil and we think gas for the car, right? But its uses are, well, prodigious is the word the experts use. It's the foundation for plastics, it's in our electronics, the rubber on our sneakers, it's even in some basketballs and toothpaste. Seriously. That incredible versatility is what makes it so central to, well, pretty much everything. So our relationship with the planet isn't just about taking stuff from it. We also transform the land itself. We call this the built environment. It's everything we construct, our cities, our homes, our monuments. And here's the thing, it's never random. It's like a giant physical billboard for what a society truly values.
Just look at Washington, D.C. for a second. The architecture is grand, it's imposing, you have these wide open spaces, and all the government buildings are placed so strategically. The whole thing is designed to project power, history, and a very specific set of national ideals. The landscape itself is trying to tell you something. Now flip that and look at Rio de Janeiro. It's a completely different vibe, right? You get this incredible, vibrant mix of old colonial buildings, sprawling favelas climbing up the hillsides, and that world-famous beach culture. This built environment tells a totally different story, one about a unique history, complex social dynamics, and a really deep connection to the geography right around it. So when you see these vastly different places like DC and Rio, it makes you wonder why? Why are they so different? For a long time, the main theory geographers had was super simple, really rigid, and deeply flawed. It basically argued that our destiny was written for us by our local geography. They called this theory environmental determinism. The core idea was that the physical environment, especially the climate, was the only thing that mattered. It decided everything about a society, how successful it would be, what its people would be like, everything. In this view, humans were just sort of passive actors, completely shaped by nature. And this line of thinking led to some seriously problematic ideas. For instance, a real argument proponents made was that tropical climates made people lazy, while colder climates made them hardworking. It's not hard to see how this kind of science was used to justify colonialism, right? It created a reason for why some societies were supposedly superior to others. Modern geographers have thankfully thrown this whole biased view into the garbage. Fortunately, our understanding grew up a bit. A new, smarter theory came along. It didn't toss out the environment's importance, but it added a brand new, crucial ingredient into the mix: human choice. And this brings us to possibilism, which is the theory we largely accept today. It says, sure, the environment sets certain limits. You're not going to have a thriving orange grove in Antarctica. But, and this is the key, within those limits, humans have the ingenuity and agency to choose from a whole range of possibilities. And we often use technology to push those limits way, way further. So the shift in thinking here is huge. Determinism said the environment is the cause, which makes humans passive. Possibilism says the environment is just a limit and humans are active agents of change. It means our culture isn't predetermined, it's a choice, and one that's powerfully shaped by our own creativity and our technology. And once you start looking for possibilism, you see it everywhere. For thousands of years, people living on the sides of steep mountains didn't just give up and say, oh well, guess we can't farm here. No, they got creative and built amazing terraces, literally reshaping the mountain itself to create flat land to grow food. Or just look at the Netherlands. A huge part of the country is actually below sea level, and an environmental determinist might have said it's impossible to build a major nation there. But the Dutch, through these mind-blowing feats of engineering, dikes, canals, pumps, they chose to build a thriving, powerful country anyway. And for a final one, just think about these massive cities and green farms that seem to pop up in the middle of the desert. That shouldn't be possible, right? But with technology like irrigation and water management, we've shown that even some of the harshest environmental limits can be overcome by human creativity. So this brings us right to our doorstep, to today. The power of possibilitism, our ability to shape the world, is stronger now than it has ever been. But with that incredible power comes some pretty immense responsibility. The question isn't really if we can change our environment anymore, it's how we should. The guiding idea for this new reality is sustainability. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's also profound. It just means let's use what we need to live well today, but let's do it in a way that doesn't completely wreck the planet for our kids and grandkids. And the stakes, well, they couldn't be higher. The choices we've made in the past, especially our reliance on those non-renewable fossil fuels, are having consequences for the whole globe. We're now living with the results, from rising sea levels and melting polar ice to wildfires that are more intense and more frequent than ever. But here's the hopeful part. The very same idea, possibilitism, that explains our past also empowers our future. It proves that we are not passive victims, just waiting to see what happens. We're active. We have the power to adapt, to invent, and to change our world for the better. We are not prisoners of our geography. Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We have the technology. We understand the limits. We definitely know the stakes. The environment doesn't seal our fate. Our choices do. So what future are we going to choose to build?